Hello and welcome, my dear friends. Today the topic is about IUPAC nomenclature of compounds containing more than one functional group. Last time we talked about the IUPAC nomenclature of compounds containing functional groups, whether that is alcoholic group, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, esters, etc. And now we will be talking about when there are more than one functional groups in a molecule, how they would be named as far as IUPAC nomenclature is concerned. So the first point to note is for compounds containing more than one functionalities, containing more than one functional group, one among them becomes principal functional group, that is to be suffixed, and rest of functional groups become secondary and hence act as substituents, therefore they are prefixed. ये पॉइंट आपको याद रखना है. अगर आपके मॉलिक्यूल में एक से ज्यादा फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स होंगे तो उनमें से जो एक फंक्शनल ग्रुप होगा वो प्रिंसिपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप कहलाता है. दैट्स कॉल्ड एज प्रिंसिपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप. उसको हम सफिक्स मानते हैं, मतलब उसका नाम जो है वो हम सफिक्स देते हैं. एंड जो बाकी फंक्शनल ग्रुप बचते हैं दे आर कॉल्ड एज सेकेंडरी फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स एंड दे आर एक्ट एज सबस्टिट्यूएंट्स, हेंस दे आर प्रीफिक्स्ड. ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात है जो आपको याद रखनी है. अब मसला यह है कि what can be the principal functional group and which will be the secondary functional groups. For that you are having an order. Principal nature of functional group. Principal nature of functional group is decided by following priority order. Priority order. Priority order. पहले जो priority रखता है that is carboxylic acid group. Then you have sulfonic acid group SO3H. Then you have anhydride. Then you are having ester. Then there is acid halide COX. Then there is acid amide CONH2. Then there is cyanide. Then we have isocyanide. Then there is aldehyde, ketone. Then we have alcohol. Then thiol. Then we have NH2 amine group. Then you have the lastly ethers. This is the priority order. You have to remember this order. How can we remember this order? For example, अगर हमारे पास एक कंपाउंड है जिसमें कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड ग्रुप है और साइनाइड है, so carboxylic acid is having high priority as compared to that of cyanide. So cyanide functional group becomes substituent and the principal functional group is carboxylic acid. इसका जो नाम आएगा वो oic acid आएगा because इसका suffix name आता है oic acid और इसका नाम जो है ये secondary कहलाएगा. इसका नाम क्या आएगा as prefix. We will be talking about that. As suffix आपको पता है इन सबके नाम. For example, अगर हम इसका नाम लेंगे तो oic acid है. Suffix name already discuss किया गया है in previous videos. You can watch them. The links have been placed in the description. So इसका जो है oic acid आता है, इसका sulfonic acid आता है, इसका oic anhydride आता है, oic anhydride, इसका O8 आता है, इसका oil halide आता है, इसका आता है amide. Then there is nitrile, isonitrile, al, un, all. Then you have thiol, amine, and you have lastly alkox. So what will be their names when they act as substituents, or we can say when they will be prefixed? So the names are Meanwhile, I should tell you one important thing, that is, how can you remember this order? We have a mnemonic for that. I have made myself a mnemonic. The mnemonic is, the trick is, you can remember like this by means of this trick, that is, can some anhydrides eases acid halides, and then amides can isolate, aldehydes and ketones from alcohols to answer ethers. ये आप याद रखेंगे. इस चीज को याद रखने के लिए आपके पास ये ट्रिक है. Can some anhydrides eases acid halides? Can some anhydrides eases acid halides? And then amides can isolate aldehydes and ketones from alcohols to answer ethers. C stands for carboxylic acid, S stands for sulfonic acid, A stands for anhydrides, anhydrides is anhydrides over here. Then E stands for esters. So can some anhydrides eases acid halides? So acid halides उसके बाद आता है. Then and then ऐसे ही आपको याद रखना है. Then there is amide. Then there is amide. Amides can isolate. Can is here cyanide. Isolate means isocyanide. Aldehydes. Then ketones. From is such आपको याद रखना है. Then alcohols. To stands for thiol. Answer stands for amine. Ethers is the ether. So you can remember this priority order of functional groups by means of this sentence, that is, can some anhydrides eases acid halides, and then amides can isolate aldehydes and ketones from alcohols to answer ethers. C stands for carboxylic acid, S stands for sulfonic acid, anhydrides is anhydride, then eases means esters, acid halides. And then amide means amide, can stands for cyanide, isocyanide means isolate here, aldehydes and ketones from OH, that is alcohol, to stands for thiol, answer stands for amine, ether is ether. This is how you can remember this by means of this sentence. Now, what will be their names as far as prefix is concerned? So the prefix names of the functional groups is, हमारे पास पहला फंक्शनल ग्रुप है, सपोज SO3H है हमारे पास फंक्शनल ग्रुप, इसका प्रीफिक्स नेम आएगा सल्फो. देन यू आर हैविंग COR, दैट्स एस्टर, इसका आएगा कार्ब अल्कोक्स. तो अगर यहाँ पे मिथाइल ग्रुप होगा तो कार्ब मिथॉक्स, अगर इथाइल ग्रुप होगा तो कार्ब इथॉक्स एक्सेट्रा. इसका दूसरा नाम भी है अल्कोक्सी कार्बोनिल, मतलब अगर आर की जगह मिथाइल है तो मिथॉक्सी कार्बोनिल, इथॉक्सी कार्बोनिल एक्सेट्रा. देन यू आर हैविंग COX मींस एसिड हैलाइड, इसका जो आता है नाम दैट्स हेलो कार्बोनिल, और वी कैन से हेलो फॉर्माइल, FORMYL, हेलो कार्बोनिल और हेलो फॉर्माइल. देन यू आर हैविंग अमाइड ग्रुप, इसका प्रीफिक्स आता है कार्बामाइल, और यू आर हैविंग साइनाइड, इसका सफिक्स नाम आता था नाइट्राइल, लेकिन इसका प्रीफिक्स नाम आएगा साइनो. अगर आपके पास NC है मतलब आइसोसाइनाइड है तो इसका है आइसोसाइनो. देन यू आर हैविंग CHO aldehyde group, that is called as aldo or formyl, whatever you can use. Then you are having ketonic group, इसका आता है on as suffix name but prefix name is keto or oxo. Then you are having OH group, इसका आएगा hydroxy, इसका आता था suffix name all but prefix name is hydroxy. Then you are having NH2 group, इसका आता है amino, and finally you are having ether, that is alkoxy. अगर यहाँ पे R की जगह methyl है तो methox से आएगा, ethox से आएगा, etc. So these are basically the prefix names of all these functional groups. So sulfonic acid is actually sulfo as prefix. Ester का नाम आता था OAte as suffix, but as prefix it's carb alkoxy. Similarly we have halocarbonyl, carbamoyl, cyano, isocyano. Then aldehydes का aldo or formyl, keto or oxo for ketones, hydroxy for alcohols, amino for amines, and alkoxy for ethers. These are the prefix names for these compounds. Once they act as secondary functional groups, or we can say substituents. Now let's have some examples. Before going to examples, let me tell you some important points. Point number one is longest chain must contain principal functional group. So longest chain must contain principal functional group, and it should get lowest number. बाकी रूल्स जो है वो सेम है, रेस्ट रूल्स आर सेम. रेस्ट रूल्स विल बी सेम. सो लॉन्गेस्ट चेन आपको सिलेक्ट करनी है, लेकिन वो वाली चेन आप सिलेक्ट करेंगे जिसमें प्रिंसिपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप है या ज्यादा से ज्यादा फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स होंगे, और आपको उस चेन को नंबरिंग करनी है उस साइड से, ताकि प्रिंसिपल फंक्शनल ग्रुप जो है उसका लोवेस्ट नंबर आए. दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट. लेट्स हैव सम एग्जांपल्स. द फर्स्ट एग्जांपल वी विल बी टेकिंग अप इज this is the example over here, and आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है फंक्शनल ग्रुप. दिस इज द कीटोनिक ग्रुप, C डबल बॉन्ड O ग्रुप. दिस इज मिथाइल. तो दिस इज द कीटोनिक ग्रुप. सो हमारे पास कीटोनिक ग्रुप है, हमारे पास अल्कोहलिक ग्रुप है. तो इन दो फंक्शनल ग्रुप जब होंगे तो इनमें से प्रिंसिपल कौन बनेगा अकॉर्डिंग टू प्रायोरिटी ऑर्डर आप देख सकते हैं यहां. सो यू कैन सी हियर ketones get priority as that of alcohols. So ketones become principal and alcoholic become secondary functional group. जब अल्कोहल सेकेंडरी बनेगा मतलब ये कि ये सबस्टिट्यूएंट कहलाएगा. तो नंबरिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम द साइड वायर प्रिंसिपल गेट्स द लोवेस्ट नंबर. सो ये नंबर कार्बन नंबर 1 आएगा, ये कार्बन नंबर 2 है, दिस इज 3 एंड दिस इज 4. तो ये बनेगा सबस्टिट्यूएंट. जब ये सबस्टिट्यूएंट बनेगा इट इज टू बी प्रीफिक्स्ड. सो इसका प्रीफिक्स नाम क्या आता है, हाइड्रोक्सी आता है. उसका पोजीशन नंबर 3 है, तो 3 हाइड्रोक्सी. देन वर्ड रूट इज ब्यूट. सारे सिंगल बॉन्ड्स हैं एन, देन 2 ओन. यहाँ पे O है, O is vowel, so you have to drop E of N. I told you last time also. This was the first example. Then we shall be going to next example, that is here. Double bond O, it's here H. Then you are having here OH, here it's methyl. Now again you can see this is the aldehyde group, CHO aldehyde group, this alcoholic group. Aldehyde becomes principal, alcohol becomes secondary. So numbering starts from here 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there are two substituents. One is hydroxy, next is methyl. M comes after H after alphabetically. So we have 2 hydroxy first, alphabetical order. So 2 hydroxy, 3 methyl, 2 hydroxy, 3 methyl. Then there is word root means but. सारे single bonds means N. जो ये डबल बॉन्ड है ये फंक्शनल ग्रुप का डबल बॉन्ड है. आई टोल्ड यू इन प्रीवियस वीडियो आल्सो दैट फंक्शनल ग्रुप्स में जो मल्टीपल बॉन्ड्स होंगे दे आर नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज अनसैचुरेशन. सो वी हैव एन, ब्यूटेन, देन 1 अल बिकॉज इट इज द अल्डेहाइड ग्रुप. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड इट. नेक्स्ट एग्जाम्पल हम कोट करेंगे यहां. इट इज हियर CH3O, देन इट इज डबल बॉन्ड O, देन यू आर हैविंग डबल बॉन्ड O, then you are having here methyl group. So अगर आप देखेंगे ये वाला जो फंक्शनल ग्रुप है this is ester. This is the functional group which is ester because it is COOR, R की जगह methyl है, तो this is the ester functional group. And this group is basically ketonic group. अगर आप देखेंगे ester carries priority over that of ketone. You can see that order. ester यहाँ पे है, ketone यहाँ पे है. So ester carries significance or priority as compared to ketone. So ester becomes principal functional group. तो secondary बनेगा आपका ketonic group. Numbering always starts from that carbon or that functional group which is principal. So it is number 1 over here. This will be number 2. This will be number 3, 4, and 5. Now जब भी एस्टर आता है तो एस्टर का जो अल्काइल है दैट इज टू बी नेम्ड फर्स्ट. सो मिथाइल ये पहला आएगा. सो इट इज हियर मिथाइल. देन अब ये बनेगा आपका प्रीफिक्स. ये भी आपका प्रीफिक्स आता है, मतलब सबस्टिट्यूएंट आएगा. ये भी इसका आता है ऑक्सो, 2 ऑक्सो और 2 कीटो. हम ऑक्सो लेंगे यहां. जब ओ आएगा तो इसका एम आएगा. एम कम्स बिफोर ओ, तो 3 मिथाइल लिखेंगे हम पहले अल्फाबेटिकली. 3 मिथाइल, 2 ऑक्सो. देन वर्ड रूट इज 5 मीन्स पेंट. सारे सिंगल बॉन्ड मतलब एन. देन 1 OH. O is vowel, so E has been dropped. This is how you can name these compounds. So methyl जो है, it is the ester methyl which is to be named first always. Next example हमारे पास है double bond O, single bond OH, then single bond Cl, then 2 methyls over here, and this is the compound. Now you can name this from here because this is the carboxylic acid group, highest priority group. This alcohol, this chloro, it's carbon number 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6. This is the longest chain in which we have maximum functional groups. Now this is the principal functional group. ये substituent बनेगा, ये भी substituent बनेगा. These are also substituents. इनका methyl आता है M, इसका आएगा C chloro, इसका आएगा hydroxy H. So C comes first, then H, then M. So we have 3 chloro, then 2 hydroxy, then 4 इस मिथाइल का भी, 4 इस मिथाइल का भी, मतलब 4, 4 dimethyl. Then word root is hex. सारे सिंगल बॉन्ड मतलब N. Then 1 oic acid because it's carboxylic acid. So this is how you can name these compounds. Next example है हमारे पास. So it's double bond O here, OH. Then it's here OH. It's here ketonic group. Then this is the molecule. अब देखिए numbering starts from principal functional group, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is the longest chain in which this becomes substituent, this becomes substituent, and this becomes substituent. This is the ketonic group. इसका O आएगा ऑक्सो करके, इसका H आएगा हाइड्रोक्सी करके, इसका M आएगा मिथाइल. So H comes first, then M, then O, and now you can name it. So we have 2 hydroxy, 4 methyl, then 3 oxo. Because this becomes a secondary functional group, it is to be prefixed, it becomes substituent. So 3 oxo. Then word root is 7 means hept. सारे single bond मतलब N. Then 1 oic acid. कभी कभार हम 1 ओमिट ही करते हैं, हम लिखेंगे डायरेक्टली हेप्टेनोइक एसिड बिकॉज 1 ज्यादातर नहीं लिखते हैं. यू कैन डायरेक्टली राइट हेप्टेनोइक एसिड, बट बेटर इज टू राइट हेप्टेन 1 ओइक एसिड. इससे बिल्कुल आपको समझ में आएगा. देन यू आर हैविंग वन मोर एग्जांपल. डबल बॉन्ड O, it's H over here, aldehyde group. This is the ketonic group. ये मॉलिक्यूल है. Now this is the functional group which is basically aldehyde group, and this is the ketonic group. Aldehyde carries significance as compared to ketone, because aldehydes पहले आता है. You can see that order. aldehyde पहले आता है, उसके बाद आता है ketone. मतलब aldehyde becomes principal, ketone becomes secondary functional group. So means that आपका जो ये प्रिंसिपल बनेगा, नंबरिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम हियर. अगर आप नंबरिंग करेंगे 1, 2, 3, 4 कार्बन यहां से आते हैं. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 कार्बन. तो अगर आप यहां जाएंगे तो इट विल बी द लॉन्गेस्ट चेन. बट द पॉइंट इज आपने एक फंक्शनल ग्रुप को सबस्टिट्यूएंट बना दिया. सो यू मस्ट basically select the chain which contains maximum functional groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the selected chain. So point is select chain, we can say selected chain must contain maximum functional groups. जिसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा functional groups होंगे वो ही आपको selected chain करनी है. You have to select that chain in which we have maximum functional groups, even that sacrifices longest chain. Sacrifices longest chain. So यहाँ से आपका longest chain बन रहा था 5 कार्बन का, लेकिन यहाँ से 4 ही कार्बन आते हैं. But the point is इस चेन में सारे functional groups आते हैं, इसीलिए better is to go for that chain which is having what? Maximum number of functional groups. So this becomes substituent. So इसका क्या है? 1 carbon, 2, 3, it's propyl, 2 propyl. So we can name it now. It's 2 propyl. लेकिन इसका P आएगा propyl, कीटोन का आएगा O. O पहले आता है alphabetically, then P. So you have 3 oxo, then 2 propyl, 3 oxo, 2 propyl, then word root is but, सारे single bonds मतलब N, then 1 al. You can omit 1, you can write butanol, but better is to write 1 al. This is how you name it. I'll just modify this molecule by another example. The point is, so the example is like this. It's double bond O over here. It's double bond O and this is H. This aldehyde group, this ketonic group. Again, ये बिल्कुल यही molecule है जो मैंने अभी दिखाया आपको. But I have modified this part. I have kept here now OH group. Now there are 3 functional groups. One is aldehyde group, next is ketonic group, and third is hydroxide. Now which functional group will you choose, or which will you choose? I'll choose this 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why? Because OH group is the functional group but having lower priority as compared to ketone. So हम लोगों ने वो वाली चेन सिलेक्ट कर दी जिसमें आपके हायर प्रायोरिटी वाले फंक्शनल ग्रुप आते हैं. So selected chain contains high priority functional groups. So we have selected this chain. Why? Because this is the aldehyde group, this is the ketonic group, this alcoholic group. इसमें क्या है? इसमें ये वाला जो है aldehyde हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी है, दूसरा हाईएस्ट प्रायोरिटी वाला ये है ketonic group, एंड लास्ट प्रायोरिटी वाला alcoholic group है. इसीलिए we have kept it at the later point. So now how do you name it? Now the point is आपके 2 नंबर पे ये सबस्टिट्यूएंट है. अब 2 नंबर पे ये सबस्टिट्यूएंट जो है आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है where lies OH. So इसका नंबर 2 है तो इसकी इंटरनल नंबरिंग हो जाएगी. इंटरनल नंबरिंग, सो नंबरिंग will be start from the point where it is attached to the selected chain. It's 1, it's 2, then it is 3. So इसका प्रोपाइल आएगा, P आएगा, इसका O आएगा. So O comes first, then P. So you can write 3 oxo. Then you have 2 over here. Then इसका अपना नाम 2 hydroxy propyl, 2 hydroxy propyl. इसका अपना नंबर है 2, वो यहां पे है. Then you have the word root but, then N, then you have 1 al. So this is how you can name these compounds. You can name these compounds. Last example हम quote करेंगे यहाँ. That is, so we have here double bond OOH, we have here OH, we have here double bond, then single here, then here substituent, then you have here C triple bond and a cyanide group. So the highest priority group is carboxylic group, that is COOH group. Number starts from here. It's 1, 2, it's 3, then it's 4, and this will be 5. अब cyanide group यहाँ पे है तो इसका आता है C cyano, इसका आता है H hydroxy, तो इसका आता है M methyl. तो C comes first, then H, then methyls. So you can name it like this: 5 cyano, 2 hydroxy, then 2, 4 dimethyl, Then you are having word root that is pent, 5 कार्बन है. इस वक्त सारे सिंगल बॉन्ड नहीं है बिकॉज यहाँ पे डबल बॉन्ड है. डबल बॉन्ड किस जगह है? 2 पे है, तो 2 in then 1 oic acid. We have dropped here E because O begins with vowel, so we have dropped E, so it's pent 2 in 1 oic acid. This is the name of compound. I hope you understand it. Once we have more than one functional groups, how do we name them? The point to be noted is you have the principal functional group and rest of them become a secondary. Principal is to be suffixed, whereas rest are to be prefixed. They become substituents. What is their substituent name? What is their prefix name? We talked about that's here. That is here sulfur, carboxy, alkoxy वगैरह ये सारे या कोई याद रखने हैं. And how do you remember the this priority order is by means of this sentence, that's can some anhydrides eases acid halides, and then amides can isolate aldehydes and ketones from alcohols to answer ethers. This is how you can remember it. Then you can remember the names as prefixes. Then you can easily name compounds. But the point is you have to select the chain which contains maximum number of functional groups, and the numbering starts from the functional group which is principal. These are some of the rules which you have to remember. And I must tell you one thing, before you go through these videos, you must watch my previous videos because they are very helpful in understanding the future course of action of these videos. I hope you understand it. If you like my videos, please do not hesitate to share and subscribe my channel. I'll come up with more such videos next hopefully. Till then, take good care of yourselves. Thank you very much.